Good. We'll be discussing basics of AI tools in academic research. And what we'll be looking at is, we'll discuss the introduction, fundamentals of AI tools in academic research. We'll look at this. We also look at the basics of scientific writing. If we will be discussing scientific writing, it's essential that we know the basics of scientific writing. And when I say scientific writing here, I'm talking about all forms of academic writing. It's not limited to people in science alone. I'm talking about all forms of academic writing. Then we also look at optimizing, how to optimize scientific writing, how to use AI tools to improve our scholarly research and writing. Then finally, we look at ethics in the use of AI tools in scholarly writings. This is a very important aspect of what we'll be doing, the ethics. Please, I will employ everyone to mute so that there won't be disturbance as we go along. Some people are trying to join. Let me admit them. Okay. Now, let's deal with the introduction. We know that artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. And the aim of artificial intelligence is to create systems that are capable of performing tasks that will normally require human intelligence to carry out. These tasks include learning from experience, understanding natural language, recognizing patterns, solving problems, and making decisions. You agree with me that these are things that human intelligence is required to be able to do. To be able to learn from experience, to be able to understand natural language, to recognize patterns and solve problems, and also to make decisions. These are things that requires human intelligence. But artificial intelligence is making the computer capable of performing these tasks that human beings ordinarily will be required to carry out. Now, we have two basic types of artificial intelligence. We have what we call the narrow artificial intelligence and the general artificial intelligence. The narrow artificial intelligence are systems that are designed to perform a narrow task, e.g. facial recognition or internet searches. You have phones that have facial recognitions. These are AI tools on your phones that you're already using. And this is a very narrow AI tool because it performs a very narrow action, something like voice recognition and things like that. But we also have the general AI, and these are systems that possess the ability to perform any intellectual task that a human being can do. They can understand, they can learn, they can adapt, and implement knowledge in different domains. And this is where AI is trying to go, general AI. Geoffrey Hinton, who is considered one of the fathers of artificial intelligence, said, early AI was mainly based on logic. You are trying to make computers that reason like people. The second route is from biology. You are trying to make computers that can perceive and act and adapt like animals. So AI It's not just trying to reason like us, it is to become like us eventually. And you find applications of artificial intelligence almost in every sector. In the healthcare, AI can be used in patient diagnosis and risk factor identification, can be used in drug discovery. It optimizes the drug discovery process, and it can be used to create personalized medicine and personalized patient care. In finance, artificial intelligence is used for algorithmic trading, fraud detection, credit scoring, and automation of financial processes. And you find AI being applied everywhere: transportation, education, entertainment, video and audio editing, e-commerce, and in what we'll be discussing today, which is scholarly research and writing. Now, has AI had any impact on scholarly research and writing? Yes, because it is causing a paradigm shift in academics. AI is no longer just a trend, but it's causing a fundamental change in how research and scholarly work is done. It provides new analytical capabilities that are important for researchers, educators, and students. So AI is no longer just a fad. AI is something that is required, especially in the academic sector today. And as we know, academic research is the bedrock of knowledge creation. And AI will help us to create knowledge in a smarter way. Now, so we'll be discussing the application of AI in research and academic writing. It is important that we understand what research is all about and the key stages in the research process. One of the very important key stage in the research process is topic selection, where you have to identify a relevant and feasible research question. You consider the scope and significance and the originality of the topic based on the research question you have identified. And AI tools can help to identify trendy topics and research gaps. So, whereas in time past, you have to read a lot of materials, manuscripts, articles in the area of research that you want to work on. For you to be able to draw up your research question and coin your topic, there are AI tools that can help you do these things seamlessly by identifying research gaps in the research area you want to study and help you to design a topic that will fill that research gaps. So that is a key area or a key stage in the research process: topic selection, and AI can be used in this. Also, literature review process is a very important research process stage. In literature review, you are supposed to conduct a comprehensive search of existing literature. When I say comprehensive, I mean comprehensive. You look at all the relevant materials that have been published in that area of research, all. Then you summarize and synthesize the relevant studies. You identify gaps in the current knowledge. Then you justify the need for your research. These are the things we do during literature review process. And AI tools can help to streamline searching, organization, and summary of research. It can also help to manage references and create literature maps. Literature map is something that is very important that we are going to look at during our hands-on training. So AI tools can help to do this. Another very key stage in the research process is research design. Here you choose an appropriate research methodology, and this could be either qualitative or quantitative or a mixture of both. You develop a research plan, and this includes your research objectives, your hypothesis, and your variables. Then you design experiments, survey, or observational studies that can help you achieve your objectives. There are AI tools that can assist in designing methodologies, drafting proposals, suggest optimal designs, and determine sample size you are supposed to use that will be appropriate for your study. The next key stage in research process is data collection. After you have your research design, then you go for data collection. This is where you gather data using any choosing method. Could be survey, could be experiment, could be interview, could be various other means. And here you must ensure the reliability and validity of the data you collect. So the instrument you used in collecting the data becomes very, very important. And data must be collected systematically and ethically. There are AI tools that can automate data collection, that can automate surveys and social media analytics, and they can also ensure data quality by identifying and correcting errors. Data analysis and interpretation is a very important key stage in research process. After you have collected your data, you are expected to analyze your data. This is where you clean and pre-process the data to remove errors or inconsistencies. Analyze the data using statistical or qualitative analysis techniques, or the use of software to enhance accuracy and efficiency. And in the data interpretation, it helps to interpret the results in the context of your research question and your research objectives. It helps to compare your findings with existing literature and gives you the implication of your findings. There are AI tools that will quickly and accurately analyze large data sets, identify patterns, trends, and correlations, generate visualizations, and summarize key findings. And they can also provide insight through predictive analytics. The last important stage is scientific writing. Again, let me repeat here. When I use the word scientific writing, I'm not talking of writing for scientists alone. I'm using it to mean all forms of academic writing. So when I talk about scientific writing, I'm referring to all forms of academic writing. So scientific writing involves writing the research paper, following a standard structure, ensuring clarity, coherence, and conciseness in writing. In scientific or academic writing, proper citations are made and all ethical guidelines are maintained or adhered to in reporting our research. And the publication stage involves selecting an appropriate journal for submission, formatting the manuscript according to the journal guidelines, submitting the manuscript, and addressing reviewers' comments during peer review process. After submitting your manuscript. There will usually be a peer review process, and you'll be sent the reviewer's observation, and you have to respond to them. There are AI tools that can help draft, edit, and refine manuscripts. They offer grammar and style corrections. They ensure clarity and coherence. They can generate summaries and abstracts. They can also identify suitable journals for submission. So these are what AI can help you to do. Now, as AI is helping you to do all this, what it does for you then is to help you to focus on innovation and critical thinking. You outsource the manual labor to AI, then the critical thinking aspects and innovation is what you now dwell on. So we then go to basics of scientific writing. For us to be able to use AI correctly, we must understand what we want to do. Because if you do not understand how academic writing is done, then you will be wasting your time or you'll be doing unethical things by using AI tools. People are still trying to join very late, let me admit. Okay. Now, some of you might have seen this cropped Twitter message. And this guy wrote, Mayowa Tijani, he said, the most annoying part of academic writing is knowing the thing, but looking for some other paper to say it for you. You can't just say bread is soft. You have to say, according to Baker, 2001, bread is soft. Then he went ahead to say, then you can't quote Baker 2001 because it is outdated. Although bread did not stop being soft, you have to find another baker who said it in 2023. And this is very funny, makes a lot of sense. It talks about the frustrations in writing an academic paper. But in the course of this class today, we look at what this guy has said and see if he's actually completely correct in his assertion. Now, academic writing is a formal style of writing used in universities, schools, and used for scholarly publications. For a writing to be considered academic, it must be formal and unbiased. Academic writing aims to convey information in an impartial way. So when you make any claim in an academic writing, you must support it with relevant evidence. You don't just assert. It's not like a law court where you put it to people. I put it to you that this is this. No, you must have relevant evidence to support any claim you make. So this we must put at the back of our mind when we want to write any academic paper. For any assertion we make, there must be enough evidence to support the assertion. The evidence must not just be enough, it must be relevant. There must be relevant evidence to support any assertion we make. Also, all academic writing must be clear and precise. The language used in academic writing should be clear and very, very precise. And when we write academic papers, we have to avoid as much as possible jargons and unnecessary complexities. Also, academic writings must be well structured. with a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. Depending on the structure, every form of writing has its own specific structure, but they all have introduction, body, and conclusion. Then also, academic writings must be well sourced. All claims and arguments made in an academic writing should be backed up by relevant and reliable sources. Like I said earlier, it has to be supported by relevant evidence. The evidence you are able to generate, you have to support it. After you get the evidence you are able to generate, then you should now back it up by getting relevant and reliable source, like how our friend Tijani said, Baker 2001 and Baker 2023, to support the fact that you were able to get evidence that bread is soft. So all evidence, all assertions must, one, be supported by relevant evidence that you were able to generate, and two, should be backed by relevant and reliable sources. So this is something that is very, very important if we are writing an academic paper. Then academic writing has its tone and style. Generally, it must be formal, it must be objective, and it must be informative. Academic writing is different from literary writing. So in this case, academic writing must be formal, objective, and informative. I will keep repeating this. Anywhere you see scientific, I'm using it as a substitute for academic. It means somebody in English can look at this and still be able to adapt it for academic papers in English or languages or literature and so on. So the purpose of writing academic papers, it is the main mechanism for which we communicate to the general public our finding. We share our research results and findings with other scientists, other experts, other academics, and even to the wider public. And it is important because it enables systematic sharing of information, and it allows you to provide the basis for other people to build their work upon. And what are the characteristics? It has to be clear, it has to be precise, it has to be essential. Anything you put in an academic paper must be clear. It must be completely rid of being vague. We should avoid the use of vague sentences when we are writing academic paper, and it must be precise. There's no need for a lot of jargons or verbosity when we are writing academic paper, and it must be essential. You don't put things that are not essential, things that are not relevant to the work are not supposed to find its way into your research paper. Then also, academic writings are governed by rigid rules. If you are sending your work to any journal, they have rigid rules on how you must format your work. You cannot bend those rules. You must follow those rules. And when writing an academic paper, there's little room for creativity. You can't be creative while writing a scientific paper the way you are creative when writing a novel or you're writing a drama or poetry. You cannot be creative here. Your creativity stops at the research. All researchers are expected to be very creative, to be innovative with their research. But the reports of your innovation or your findings cannot be creative. There's no room for creativity. You just follow a rigid rule of reporting. Then scientific writing has a long tradition of using the IMRAD structure, that is the introduction, method, result, and discussion. Most scientific or academic papers have this structure. You have an introduction, you have a method section, you have a results section, and you have a discussion section. And this has become the dominant structure for scientific reports when you are reporting an original research work. Now, there are structures for every academic work, any academic writing, it has structures. And one of the things that an academic writing must have is the title. The title tells the reader the topic of the report. It tells the reader the relevant question to ask. Okay. The relevant question to ask here is the title clear and informative? And does it reflect the content of the report or paper? So if you're writing or designing a title for your work, it has to be clear. It has to inform. And it must reflect the content of that report or that paper. So the title should succinctly convey the focus of the study and the scope of the paper. So that's what the title does. Then we have the abstract. The abstract usually comes after the title, but the abstract is the last thing to be written. It's the last thing to be written, and it's one of the first things to be seen. And the abstract is a very important part of any academic writing. The abstract is a brief summary of the purpose and salient results of the study. The abstract should say what your study is about and explain why it matters. So the abstract is the selling point for every article because it tells us what the study is about and why we should bother reading the study, why it matters. So the abstract should have a brief background, followed by the research problem or aim of the study. It should also have methods used, brief methods used without citation. It should have summary of the results, data interpretation, and conclusion. The conclusion should highlight the most significant finding in the study. That is what the abstract should be about. So the abstract is usually divided into these four structures: the background or introduction, which shouldn't be more than 1 or 2 sentences, followed by the research problem or the aim of the study. Then the second section is the methodology, the method used. This should be a brief summary of the method used without putting citations. Citations should not come into the abstract. Then followed by summary of the results and the interpretation of the result. And finally, conclusion. The conclusion should highlight the most significant finding in the research. So that is what the abstract is about. Another important structure in academic writing is introduction. In this section, you indicate what has been studied, why it has been studied, and in general terms, how it has been studied. So you give the background that introduces the reader to the larger contents for the specific study to understand why the topic is relevant, why it is important, and why you have carried out your study. So you give relevant background information in the introduction. Then the next stage or the next important structure is the method. In this section, This section is like the recipe to a chef. Before a chef will go to the kitchen to prepare a very delicious meal, he has a recipe. A recipe is the book that tells you what to do at what time and how to do it. So that is how the methodology or the method section is in the scientific writing. It describes the procedures that you have taken and which materials you have used to find an answer to your research question, and contains all the necessary information to repeat the study. Remember, when you carry out a research, you will have developed research questions. So the tools you use to answer those research questions is your method. The method, you are going to choose method to be able to use to answer those research questions. And when reporting it, you must report it in such a way that somebody else can do it and have exactly the same result you have. If your results are not reproducible, then your work is not valid. If for your work to be valid, the results must be reproducible if the same methods are applied using all the constants and variables you use. Another researcher should be able to arrive at the same result you arrived at. So method section is very important. It has to be detailed. So it's a detailed description of what you did, how you did it, including what measurements were taken, how often the measurements were taken, and at what times those measurements were taken. These are important things that must come in the method section. One important aspect also is the results. In the results section, you describe the main outcome of your study. You state what you found without interpreting it. You don't interpret, you don't elaborate. You just simply state what you find. And you limit yourself to only those results that are relevant to answer your research questions. Remember again, we have research questions before carrying out research. You use methods as the tools to be able to answer those research questions. Then your findings is what you report in the results section, and you limit yourself to only the results, the answers that are relevant to your research questions. And usually you have to clean your data before you report it. You don't report your raw data. You clean it before you put it in the results section. But while cleaning it, you are not elaborating or interpreting it. The elaboration and interpretation comes in the discussion section. This is where you fully discuss and interpret your results. You comment on whether your research supports your original hypothesis or answers your research questions. You interpret your results and state your conclusions in the light of your original hypothesis. Your discussion should be based on your objectives, your research questions, and your hypothesis. You don't go and discuss something that is not relevant to your stated objectives or hypothesis. So it must be in line with it. So you give interpretation of your result by relating and comparing them to each other. If you work and you find out your bread is soft, is it all the pans that the bread are soft? You have to relate them to one another. If some are soft, some are not very soft, you find out, you compare them, you contradict, you report how the evidence you have gathered supports your original hypothesis or how it contradicts it. Then you put it in broader context of literature. That is, what did others find that are related to your subject? Just like our friend Tijani had to quote Baker 2001 and 2023, who also discovered that bread was soft in 2001 and 2023. So you must be able to relate in your discussion section. You don't just interpret your finding. you must be able to compare it with similar work that have been done in such field before you, and you find out whether it correlates with your own finding or your finding contradicts what has been reported before in literature. So examine your results in the context of other published studies with appropriate citations. You must cite people when you use their work. Sometimes you may have a main interpretation to your finding, and you could also have an alternative interpretation. You should also state this in your discussion. Alternative interpretation may also be given, like you say, the results suggest this, but will also imply this. This is how to report your alternative interpretation. So next thing, having looked at the basics of writing, the next thing we'll do is to see how we can use AI tools to optimize scientific writing. How do we use AI tools to optimize our scientific writing? We've already discovered the basics. So how do we optimize using AI tools? And that is what this next session is all about. One of the very important section of report writing or academic writing is literature search. You do literature search before you begin. You did literature search in the course of your work, and you continue to apply what other people have published to interpret your work till the very end. So you see, literature search is very, very important, and do it throughout your work. You do, even if you're carrying out a research, you must do extensive literature search before you start a research. Usually research are supposed to cover a void, to bridge a gap. If you have not done extensive literature search, you will not be able to identify the gap that exists. So literature search is very, very important. And there are a lot of challenges that comes with literature search. One of them is information overload. There's a vast amount of scholarly articles and resources that are available online and offline related to your research area. So to be able to sift through this vast amount of information to find the most relevant studies to your work can be very, very tasky. So we have information overload. There actually a lot of information, but to sift through this information could be very, very tasky. So this is one of the challenges of literature search that AI can help us to optimize. The second thing is that there are certain journals that are restricted. You have to pay to be able to access them. You see a journal with a very beautiful topic that is related to what you want to do. The best you can get from it is the abstract, and the abstract does not give you details of what you are looking for. If you want to go to get the article, they'll ask you to pay. And a lot of times we are not able to pay. So there is this access barrier. And AI can help us to circumvent this access barrier. You may also have heard of predatory journals, predatory articles, and things like that. So in science and in all academic writings, the credibility and quality of every paper you want to cite and quote is very, very important. So it is important for us to be able to know reputable sources and reliable articles. So there is this challenge of how to know which article is reputable or reliable. AI can help us to overcome this challenge. And in academic writings or academic field, it's a constantly evolving field. So that knowledge we had yesterday might become obsolete today. So there's a need to constantly stay abreast of latest research in our area of research, the latest result in our area of research. So because of this changing landscape of research, keeping abreast becomes very, very difficult. And AI can help us to keep abreast of the latest research in our field. And for us to be able to do a very, very thorough literature search, it is time consuming. Imagine having to read 5,000 articles before you write one. It's time consuming. So, but AI can help us to overcome this challenge. So these are the overview of challenges we find in literature search. So having understood these challenges, the next thing is to know how to do strategic information retrieval in academic research and why it is important. It is important to do strategic information retrieval because it helps build a solid foundation. The literature search is crucial in establishing a robust research foundation as it aids in the development of research questions and hypotheses. If you have not done extensive literature search, you cannot identify the research gap and you cannot develop good research questions and hypotheses. So strategic information retrieval using AI tools will help to build solid foundation in this area. It will also help to avoid redundancy and duplication. There are sometimes you read several articles that are almost saying the same thing, and you'll have spent your time having to read through all the articles to be able to know that they are saying the same thing. So sometimes some information can be redundant. For you to be able to avoid such redundancy and duplication, in strategic information retrieval using AI helps to do that. For your work to be credible, you must have done an extensive literature search. So a well-informed literature review contributes to the rigor and credibility of the research. And AI tools help us to do this. You also know that most areas of we now interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary research is what is most encouraged today. So sometimes you're writing and you have to find information across several disciplines to be able to put into your work. AI tools helps to facilitate these interdisciplinary connections. It does this better than any human can do because it's able to go through a lot of data at the same time and find the connections, what will take humans several hours to be able to do. And when you use strategic information retrieval system, it helps to improve the likelihood of the acceptance of your manuscript in an academic publication because you can use it to align yourself to the publication standard of such journals. So what benefits are we then going to get from using AI tools in academic writing? One is efficiency, because AI tool is capable of efficiently processing large data sets, performing complex analysis, identifying relevant papers and resources, and saving researchers significant time. It also helps with accuracy. It helps with comprehensiveness. You can go through several papers at once, get connections, and summarize them. Of course, it helps to save time. and it can predict trends and suggest future research direction. So that gives us insight into our work. So these are benefits of using AI tools in academic writings. Now, these are some AI tools that we can use in academic writing. I will break at this point and take some questions before we continue. So if you have any question, please either you raise your hand or you type it in the chat section. Yes, Idris, let's have your question, please. Can you mute yourself and ask?
Good afternoon once again, Prof.
Good afternoon.
And thank you so much for this session, sir. I really appreciate this session. I think it's just coming at the time. I'm also putting together my own research proposal for my research PhD. And then I've heard about the use of AI in academic writing and all of that, but there is an ethical issue that borders around plagiarism. That if
Yeah.
one uses AI to write academic essays, that there's possibility that when it's submitted or turning those plagiarism checkers to flag it up as a plagiarized write-up. I don't know if there is a way this can be addressed in using the AI as a mentioned.
Yes, yes, sure. That is why we are having this class. And, we are also going to look at ethical angle to the use of AI. So before the end of the basic class, we will answer this question. These are some of the things we have a design that we will discuss.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that I don't have to repeat myself again when we'll be discussing it. So just hold on. When we get to that section, you will, if you still have more questions to ask, then we'll take the question.
No, I think I will just say that will be all for now, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Any other question?
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. So I was just waiting for you to conclude the lecture, but now that you requested we ask our question now, can I go ahead to ask mine, sir?
Yes.
All right,
This
so,
is not the end. Sorry, please. This is not the end of the class. Is what I've treated so far that I'm talking about. If you have questions about what I've treated so far, then we can take it now. But if it's about something in the future or something that's not related to what we have taught, maybe we should hold on to the end of the class today before we take the question.
Yes, sir. My question is about what you said earlier.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, you did mention that during our result presentation that
Yes.
we need to clean up our results.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me give an example. If you are taking
Cleaning up the result.
yes. Okay, let me give an example of what I mean. If you using spectroscopy or spectrophotometric means to determine the quantity of substance in different solution, what your readings is going to, what you are going to have from your readings is absorptions. Now, when you are reporting, you are not going to be reporting the absorptions you got. You will use those absorptions in doing certain calculations to arrive at the concentration in each of those solutions. So it is the concentration you are going to be reporting. So you don't need to tell us the absorption for A, absorption for B, absorption for C, and so on, before you now go on to tell us the concentration. This is what I mean by you don't need to report raw data, but the cleaned up one. I hope that answers your question. I hope it makes sense to you.
Yes.
Okay. Any other
Probably
question?
kind of an outlier.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yes, sir. I was asking that we might be having an outlier in our data. So in that case, like we have a data that is totally strange from other set of data that we have. So
Yes.
yes, can we, talking about cleaning up the data, can we like, obviously this data is like wrong. Can we do something about it, like delete it, remove it, or something?
Now, if you have an outlier, what I would advise you do is to repeat that run. You repeat that run as much as possible. And if you, for every run, you still continue to have that outlier, you must report it. You shouldn't remove it. Because by removing it, what you are doing is that you are trying to, you already have a predetermined result before you started your work. That if it doesn't go this way, then it is wrong. But in academic reports, we report everything when we are sure that we have done the right thing and this is still the result we are getting. What you consider an outlier today might be something that might be winning a Nobel Prize tomorrow. It's an outlier today because usually science is about a consensus. That is why we quote other people when we are doing our discussion. We say, according to this person, it agrees with the result of this person. Science is about consensus. We are seeing that thing as an outlier because it is not in consonance with what is generally agreed in that area of research at that point. And that is why we see it as an outlier. But further research tomorrow could come and it will now explain why that result should be the way it is. Hajara Usman, I'm going to take your question, but I think
Yes, sir.
everyone
Good
should just
evening, sir.
good evening. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me change the power source so that we'll continue with the class. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I'm back. Yes, let me have your question, Hajara.
Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the presentation, sir. So my
Okay.
question is on the topic selection you presented.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a question about the topic selection.
Okay.
Does the AI help one to select a topic, assuming I'm having maybe a broad topic, just let's say on hemorrhage,
Yes.
and I typed in hemorrhage and I need a specific topic on it, does it going to bring out array of topics for me to choose the one that suits me, or I don't know how it works on the
Yes, it
topic
has
selection?
AI tools have such capability to help with arrays of topics. But you have to be more specific than just saying a hemorrhage or hemorrhoid. You have to tell it the
Okay.
direction to search. Did you say hemorrhoid or hemorrhage?
Hemorrhoid, I mean to say so.
Okay, okay. Yes, you know what you want to do. So you feed such information to AI, then it can help you and it can ask it to give you several topics. It can help with that. It surely does.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question before we continue? Okay, good. Now we have AI-driven scholarly writing research tools or writing assistant tools. And we have what we call the writing tools. This helps you to write, just like it implies, write. You have something to write about, you give it some prompts, and it helps you to do your writing by giving it prompts. And we have examples like Perplexity, Writesonic, Writer, Jasper, Smodin, and so on. There are quite a number of them. Some of them are free. Some you have to pay. Some paid ones have some free aspects. So I think at the beginning, I will advise you to only dwell with the free offerings for now. When you master it and you start using it more regularly and you know what you will be needing more regularly, then you can move to subscribing for these AI tools. But for now, I advise we use the free versions. Then we talked about literature search. There are several AI tools that can be used for literature search, and they include Consensus, SciSpace, Elicit, CiteAI, and Perplexity again. We mentioned Perplexity as a writing tool. It can also be used for literature search. Then we have what we call the editing tools. I'm sure a lot of us have used Skillbot before and Grammarly. They are AI tools. Then we have important ones like Paperpal, WordTune, and DeepL. These are very, very good editing tools. I'm sure we know the difference between writing, literature search, and editing. I don't need to explain that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we also have what can help us to manage our referencing and citation very well, like Zotero, Trinker, Pika, CiteAI, Mendeley, and so. These are AI tools that can be used for research writing, for report writing, any scholarly writing. If you match these, if you pick one from this, you'll be able to come up with a very beautiful paper. One that can help you to write, one that can help you to do literature search, one that can help you to edit what you have written, and another one that can help you to manage your referencing tools. Excuse me. During the hands-on, we will look at maybe 2 or 3. We'll look at consensus and size space. I'm sure everyone is with your laptop for us to do hands-on. Okay. Then AI can also be used for data analysis. And there are several data analytic tools that are AI powered, like Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, and so on. Now, it is important for us to discuss ethics in using AI. One thing we must have at the back of our mind is that AI is not a fake dystopia, and it is not the fantasized utopia. It is neither of the two. It is not a dystopia because it is not gone. A lot of people are fearing that, okay, with AI, we are going to lose our jobs, we are going to do this, do that, and AI will take over the world. And in fact, Armageddon is coming with AI because AI will be so powerful, it will destroy the whole world. And so some people have this fear for AI. Other people think AI is the utopia where they no longer need to move a finger. AI does everything for them, even up to thinking for them. So we must look at AI in between these two extremes. It is not the fear dystopia, and it is not the fantasized utopia. This should be our approach to looking at artificial intelligence tools. Now, there are certain challenges with the use of AI, and there are ethical considerations we must look at. One is accuracy. AI tools hallucinate. You know what hallucination means? When you say incoherent things, you are out of your senses. So several times AI can say potentially wrong, they can give you potentially wrong information. So if you are not an expert in that field and you do not do the critical thinking for yourself, you just take those errors and you go and mess yourself up. I'm sure some of us heard of the lawyer in New York that used ChatGPT to develop his defense and went to court and was quoting cases that didn't exist. And the lawyer was thoroughly embarrassed in court because he thought AI would give him the freedom not to do the hard work. And he did that, and he was thoroughly embarrassed in court. So let's have it at the back of our mind that AI is not 100% accurate, can generate potentially wrong information. We must have that at the back of our mind. Also, we must have it at the back of our mind that the information we are getting from AI and the information it has been trained to have. So it can reflect the bias of that training. So you could be looking for information. For instance, if it has been trained to say that climate change is real, and you're looking for information that contradicts that, you may not get it. So AI has its own bias based on the training it has received. So we have to be able to balance this out. Then if we are over reliant on AI tools, it can also impede our own skill development. So dependence on AI is something we should not do. We shouldn't become completely dependent on AI. And when you feed AI with certain information, remember you are training it, and you will be making that information available to other people too. So if you have sensitive data you have generated from your laboratory and you feed it to AI, you have compromised those data. So data privacy is very, very important when we are using artificial intelligence. So we must have that at the back of our mind. So how do we use AI? We should use AI for structures and not content. Structures and not content. AI is a predictive tool, meaning that a human can predict, because it's a predictive tool, it has been trained to think in a certain way. So if you are used to using AI and somebody generates an AI report for you, you don't even need to run it through any checker. If you look at it, you can easily tell that this thing is AI generated if you have been using it over a period of time. But like I told you, when writing an academic work, academic writing, there are structures that you cannot bend, that are rigid. So in determining those structures, you can use your AI to help you generate those structures. You can use things like ChatGPT, Claude, and so many others. And these are trained on vast amount of human-generated text. And it thinks and communicate like humans. So it will help you to generate the structure. Then you fill in the content. For instance, you want to write an article on a particular topic, you can ask GPT to give you an outline for that journal article. If you ask it to write that journal article for you, it will write it. But that is not what you should be doing. Instead, you ask it to give you an outline. Giving you an outline helps you to now write, because it gives you a direction of how your writing should go. But when you ask it to write for you to write, it sometimes to write a lot of wrong information and it will appear nice to you. Then you take it up and you are held for plagiarism or doing things that are unethical. So use AI for structures, not for content. This we must adhere to, because if you ask AI to write for you to write, if you ask it to generate content for you to generate content. And just like I gave example of writing tools, Perplexity, Writesonic, and so on, this can generate content for you, but this should not be what you should be using AI for, not content. There are some content you get from them, yes, but you shouldn't be dependent on AI for content. How should we use AI? We use AI, we outsource the laborious academic work to AI, but not the thinking. AI should not be the one to think for us. What some of the laborious work is, you need to read through hundreds to thousands of academic papers. And you cannot do that possibly as a human, except you want to write one paper in 3 years. Then you can take your time to read through the hundreds of papers. But if you want to write as many papers as possible in a year, you cannot read through all the papers that are necessary. So that is a laborious work. Another thing is that having read, say, even let's say you read 15 papers, how do you summarize them? That's another laborious work. To be able to synthesize work from 15 different articles to make a summary out of it, it's a laborious work. So these are the things you outsource to AI. So education is often considered a critical component of our lives, yet an increasing number of tasks are being outsourced to AI. Although AI may be able to facilitate some of the process associated with education, it cannot replace the complex thinking skills needed for learning and understanding. We must serve this at the back of our mind. Therefore, it is important for us to be cautious when considering outsourcing academic labor to AI. Remember that artificial intelligence can't think. Not yet. Still cannot think. It is trained to act in a certain way, still cannot think. So you have to do the thinking for it. Another thing is to treat AI as your research assistant, not your supervisor. And you remember how you and your supervisor relate. Your supervisor determine the pace of the work, the direction of the work, and how the work should go, not the student. So you cannot allow AI to be the one to determine the pace of your work, the direction of your work. Instead, it should be your assistant to collect data for you, to analyze data, and so on, while you supervise what it is doing. So allow AI to do the laborious, arduous task for you, while you do the thinking. So we should treat AI as a cooperative research assistant that assists in our objective instead of a supervisor that dictates the outcome. So having said all this, it is important for us not to over-rely on AI. Common sense is still vital. AI does not have common sense. You have it. So do not over-rely on AI. It may sound contradictory. It is not. We need AI to work faster, to work smarter, but we shouldn't over-rely. The important work there is over-relying. We should rely on it, but we shouldn't over-rely on it. So, do we have any questions before we do some hands-on? Questions before we do some hands-on? Any questions? I'm waiting to take your questions before we go to answer. Okay. In the absence of any questions, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now.
Prof, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Just one quick question. Is there any AI tool that that we can use for all of the other parts of research writing?
Like,
Like a single AI tool that can do literature search, editing, and also writing, and also data results analysis. Do we have a single AI tool that does all of this?
the thing is that all tools have a strength in certain area and weaknesses in others. Most of the AI tools try to do several things, but they have strength in one area or the other. Just like the writing tools can also do editing sometimes, but they are not very good at editing like the ones we call editing tools. The editing tools can also do writing, but they are not good as writing tools like the one we listed under the writing tool. So in trying to get an AI tool that does everything for you, you have an AI tool that is very, very limited in all the aspects. So usually AI tools are created to be very, very efficient in one narrow area while doing little things in the other areas.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. One more question, sir.
Okay.
You gave some examples of AI tools under data analysis.
Yes.
My question is, when you talk about data analysis, is it can we think of that as also probably helping with discussion of our results?
No. Data analysis is like what you use for like your SPSS.
Okay.
Yes.
So
It's like
do we
your
have AI tools
your
that
statistical
help us?
analysis and visualizing.
Yes, sir. Do we have AI tools that help us in discussion of results?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes. AI tools can help with discussion of results. If you give it an information and you tell it to explain that information, it will explain that information to you, which will help you in writing your discussion. So yeah, AI tools can definitely do that for you.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Hello, Ismail. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, from your wonderful presentation, from the what you have said so far, I want to ask a little questions about the AI tool.
Okay.
Example, let's say the AI tool. Let's say one of the questions I want to throw light on is a question that someone just asked us some few minutes ago. That an AI tool be used for statistical, that is data analysis. That's
Yes.
in case of if you wanted to run an analysis or you have your own data and you want to run a statistical analysis, it can be used. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the second thing is that from the what you say the AI tool can be able to offer, that it can be able to offer writing to, editing to, literature search, and referring others like that. So you can use it to write complete paper, but it can only be used for let's say we use this as a guide, we can't use it to write a content of the paper.
Yes, correct. That is what I'm trying to say. You
Yes,
use
sir.
AI as guide.
Okay.
And when you have a good guide, you move faster.
Okay.
You work smarter. So that's what AI does for you, to make you work faster and smarter. Not that you rely on it completely to generate everything for you.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Idris, are you still yeah, Idris is still here. So, do you still have question on the ethics, or have I answered it before I move ahead?
You have answered it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now we'll do some. I'll introduce us to. We'll just do some hands-on. You have your system with you. Let's on your search engine. Is everyone with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On your
Yes,
search engine,
Yes,
on your
sir.
search engine, type, or maybe let me do it and send a link to the chat room so that we'll pick it from there. Yes, I've placed it in the chat room. You can pick fly URL from the chat room and place on your web browser.
Okay.
Have we done so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me share my own screen. Are we seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is what you have on your screen, is it like this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay. Now let's do some little magic. I think I'm going to use myself. I'll type my name here. I want to look for information about myself. I can also log in. Try and log in. If you log in, are you still seeing my screen? At this point, maybe we should unmute so that I can get feedback from you. If you are seeing my screen, you let me
Yes,
know.
we can see.
Yes, sir. We can see,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
are with you, sir.
Okay, have you logged in?
Yes, we have.
Some of us need to sign up.
Okay,
Well,
what are you
I
seeing
think
on my
there's need
screen?
for
Are
us
you
to
still
sign
seeing
up.
the Discover the World of Scientific Literature? Or you are seeing a
Yes.
Yes.
different?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are seeing it, yeah.
Achumuga Musa
Okay,
being searched for.
okay. Let me stop sharing this and Are we seeing this screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have something like this with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm trying to search my publications. Then I'll pick one. Let's see. The reason for this is this. Let me explain. If you want to write on a particular topic and you know one author that is an authority in that area, your area of work, and you know somebody that is an authority in that area, you can go look up the person's work or look up the person's, type the person's name in your lit map like this and look for publications that that person have had in that area. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, that is what I'm trying to do, but this time around, I'm using myself. Let me go back to something else. Just a moment. I've picked one of my articles, Fungal Contamination of Fermented Propolis africana and Toxicity Screening of the Crude Extract in Albino Rats. Now, I want to write in this area. I want to find out all the papers that are related to this work. Maybe I've read this work before, and I'm writing in this area. So I want to find out all the papers that are related to this work. So I need a map, literature map of all the papers in this field. I click on this. This is the paper. You can find out several information about the paper and so on. So if I click on related articles, it will bring. Can you still see my screen with a lot of arrows and?
Sir.
Yes.
Good. Now this is my work, Musa 2011.
Yes.
It has shown me, it has given me a map of other work that are related to this. Hayes, 1984. Hampton, 1997. De Hook, 2000. Yu, 2007. Verbelin, 2007. Russell, 2010. Postero, 2013. Now, this after my work now. Noripo Siska, 2014. Yu, 2014. Kilaka, 2018. Owusu Kwateng, 2022. Guatam, 2015. Now, this gives me in just 2 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 papers that are related to my paper of interest.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I can click on any one of them to get further insight into what I'm writing on. like Chilaka now, quantification of Fusarium mycotoxins in Nigerian traditional beers and spices using multi-mycotoxin LCMS MS method. And I can get more information from here. If I click on Owusu Kwateng, plant-based alkaline fermented food as sustainable source of nutrient and health promoting bioactive compound. So using this gives us an overview of what the work is about and how to go about it. And with this, we don't need to start searching for work that are related to this paper. Just 2 clicks brings us here. So the first assignment is you can use either you can use a name or use maybe a research area, maybe something like fifth. Okay. Okay. Let's say I'm interested in looking at 5th generation biofuels. 5th generation biofuel. Then I go through what, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yes, I go through a list of some publications that it has given me, and I choose a review of 3rd generation biofuel from microalgae, for instance. Let's say I dwell on that. And I say create lit map. I've done several today because I'm using the free that I cannot continue because I've done several today already. So, but you, as your assignment now, just choose any topic and do one. Let's see. I'll allow you all to share your screen. I want to see what you have done. So I'll give you the next 5 minutes to do that. If anyone has finished, yeah, I can see 2 people have finished. Screenshot your screen and paste in the chat room. Let me see. Okay, great. I'm seeing some now. Dr. Tosin and Anu, you can screenshot and place in the
I've not gotten it into. I'm still working on it, sir.
Okay.
So even me, my own screen is not exactly the same as what I'm seeing with others and yours, sir.
Oh, wow.
Let me
Are you
share
sure
my
you
screen.
used, just copy the URL I gave in the chat room and place it on your web browser. It should give you that.
Mine is not opening.
So, but so my,
I think the network is bad. It's just rolling.
Except if the network is bad. If not, it should open.
so if you click on the link, it will show you a page of signing up.
Sign up. Yes, sign up, please.
Okay.
Yes. I have signed up before. That's why I logged in. I was able to log in.
Okay.
So when you are doing the search, you can either use a name of an author you know, or you use keywords.
Yes.
I have signed up, but I'm now in Substack. I think I've left. He has taken me out of Litmap.
So please go back to Litmap. Usually it will send you to maybe your email for you to verify your email and things like that. And come back.
There are so many things they've sent to my mail now. Okay, I think it's Substack that I first clicked. Let me look for Litmap.
Yes, please check Litmap. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I've been able to screenshot what I've done, but I don't know how to send it or share it on the chat
Oh.
box.
Okay.
I think it's only messages we can send.
Yes, I've seen that.
Send me to sir.
Okay, just present.
Okay.
Just share your screen with us. Let's see what you have done.
Okay. Okay.
Hi. Antioxidant.
Yeah.
Please, is the chat box on WhatsApp or on the Google Classroom?
Google Classroom.
Then I click on create Litmap, and it's created all of this. I can
Yes.
see GoSend 2012, Cardinals 2001. Oh, wow. What is this?
Zachariah, please stop sharing so that I can see Anu's screen. Anu, you can share your screen with us now.
Okay. Share screen.
Bello, have you seen the message?
No, I have not seen it. Maybe I was offline when you sent it, so.
Let me send it again.
All right,
Or
thank
you've
you.
seen the chat room.
I saw something like in-class messages.
In-call messages, yes.
Yeah, in-call, yeah.
Yes, I've just shared it again there.
All right.
Check the in-call messages.
Yeah, I've seen it. Thank you.
Okay, great. You can pick the URL from there, place on your web browser, and it does this for you. Nathaniel, welcome back. You went offline. Hajara, you welcome back. We are doing some hands-on now. You have missed some parts. But what I'll ask you to do is to check the in-call messages. Pick the URL for Litmap that I shared there. And follow the instructions so that we can do this aspect of the work together.
Okay.
Okay, great. I will leave us to be doing that while I will share something else with us too. Now, shared another link with us. Click that link and put it on your web browser. And tell me what you see.
Consensus. Find the web browser faster. Find the best sign faster.
Good. Is everyone there?
My link map is still rolling.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Let's,
yes, sir. we're there.
let's wait for those with a slower network to get here so that we can do it together.
Not even.
It's one pizza.
Hmm?
It's a fluff. It's a pillow.
Hello.
Yes, rainbow pillow.
Okay.
Are we all there now?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. We also all know Google Scholar, right?
Yes. So
Yes, sir.
Open another tab. Open Google Scholar. I've brought the link for Google Scholar. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're going to do something. Somebody should suggest something we can look up on. One research area I've been working on so that we try to look up for information for it.
peptic ulcer disease, sir.
You said
Peptic ulcer disease.
peptic ulcer disease.
Yes, sir.
That seems very wide. Sometimes you need to streamline this thing to get better information.
Okay.
Which question are you asking about peptic ulcer disease?
Okay. Management of peptic ulcer disease.
Management. Okay. Any other person?
Yes, Pastor.
Yeah, please.
Genotypic and phenotypic heritability of Clarice garipinus.
Hey, small one, sir.
Okay, everybody seems to be in life science. Maybe I should bring my own.
Please.
Oh, okay, bro. So, characterization of exoplanets.
Okay, you know what you do for me?
Yeah.
Everybody should please type in the income messages so that I will see and choose one from there, please.
Hey,
Just type there, then I'll choose one from there. I've not seen any. I've seen characterization of exoplanets. How to induce peptic ulcer disease in rats. Okay. Oxidative stress and inflammation, relationship and interdependence. Innovative delivery system for probiotics. Okay. Now, this is what we'll do. Let me start with the characterization of exoplanets. All of us pick characterization of exoplanets and place it in the search engine for your Google Scholar. Yes. What is the first thing? Okay, you are seeing about 27,400 results, right? Is everybody seeing this?
Okay.
Yes.
27,000
results. Yes. 27,000.
Okay.
Oh, so we are lost.
Yes.
We are lost, sir.
Yes,
Okay, I think you pick characterization of exoplanets from the INCOL.
Yes.
Somebody wrote a message.
Yes, we saw it.
Pick that message and place it on the Google Scholar search engine. Have you opened your Google Scholar before?
Yes, but we can't. Articles.
I didn't get that.
The 2000 something you mentioned.
Please, can you share your screen?
Okay, let me share my screen.
Kai ku shiru da Allah ku rage mun cibin nan ina abu ne.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Do you have something like this?
Yes, sir. 27,400 results.
Yes. This is what you should have, everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Now look at what you have. You have 27,400 results.
Yes, sir.
Imagine the time it will take you to scan through these 27,400 results. To be able to make any sense out of it.
Yeah.
And what we will normally do before is each one of them will click, we'll read the abstract and see if there's something interesting there. We'll just check the topic. This is what we'll normally do when using what is it called?
Google Scholar.
Google Scholar, right?
Yes.
Let's check for how to induce peptic ulcer in rats. Here we're having 31,000 results. Same problem.
Wow.
Oxidative stress and inflammation relationship. Let's check. $22,200 result. This is the information overload I was talking of.
Yes.
Now, how do we solve this problem? I will stop sharing this one and share mine. Have you all opened your consensus?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me go to consensus now and share. Are you all somewhere here? Can you see
Yes.
my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Let me place one of the oxidative stress and inflammation, relationship and interdependence. The same thing we did, we place it here. I click search. I can tell it to use Copilot here. Now, see what this has done. It took 10 most relevant paper. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And it's giving me summary of those 10 most relevant papers.
Yes. Wow.
Or give me introduction, key insights.
Hey. I've been wasting all this time.
On conclusion, then gave me all the papers.
Oh my God.
For each paper, it gives a little snapshot story about it. I don't have to read the entire abstract to know. So for this paper, for instance, it tells me oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, and cancer are closely linked with oxidative stress, activating inflammatory. If this interests me, I can open the paper to read it. This one gives me another snapshot. Are you seeing plenty papers with snapshots?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't have to read.
Yeah.
I don't have to read the entire paper to get here. Let me go back and look at the non-life science. Everybody is life sciences. Let me.
I still have another one.
Characterization of exoplanets, and I search.
8 papers analyzed.
This time 8. Are we seeing this?
I see. Yes.
And it begins to give snapshot about. Apart from this, you can still expand this and still get more information on each paper. So it gives you, it solves. Now, see, compare this with Google Scholar, then meet.
At all.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, we've been using Google Scholar all this while. We tell our students, don't use Google, use Google Scholar.
Yes.
That Google will give you wrong information, but go to Google Scholar. Now, the Google Scholar you get there, you will start
Sweating. So many, there's information overload.
Now, this is one other information to tell you whether this paper is reputable or not. Look at this one. It says it's highly cited. It shows the reputation of the paper.
Yes.
Okay.
These two, highly cited, 131 citations.
Yes.
This one has only 5 citations. This one, 0 citations. So you want to know whether you use something that has 0 citation or not. But
Yes.
it was relevant to your search.
So it could be the person who cites in the paper.
Yeah. And the person that wrote on genotypic
phenotypic.
Let's go there.
Clarias Gariantinus.
Let's search.
Phenotype heritability in what? What is Clarias geritinus?
It's a fish that you eat every time.
So should I just say fish?
You should have just said fish. But
Imagine.
so 9 papers were analyzed. It gave key insight into heritability of growth traits, heritability of reproductive traits, phenotypic diversity, genetic variability and differentiation, chromosomal and genomic insights.
Wow.
So this solves the problem. In fact, as you begin to use there are so many things you can do with the consensus, but I'll leave you with this one so that you master this one first before we talk of other things.
We appreciate Prof. Sir.
There's so many things you can do. Then let's look at size space before you go.
All right.
Okay, sir.
Yes, one more thing before you go. Size space. I'm coming. I'll drop the link now so that you can check. Yes, copy this to your browser the way we've been doing.
Yes, there.
Yeah, my network is becoming slow, so I'm trying to open it. It has not opened for me.
Okay.
I think the challenge is from the network, from the site. It's also slow here.
Mine is open already.
Okay, what can you see? Can you share your screen? You can use it to teach.
Okay.
Anybody who's on as open, let's use it.
Still loading, still loading. Okay, that's open.
I shared my screen.
Okay. Okay, Idris.
Yes, sir.
You do something for me. Do you have any PDF file on your
Yes, sir.
any article on your system?
Many, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Many, sir.
Now, click on upload PDF.
Okay. Upload. Okay.
And pick one article, one very good article.
Okay, sir.
So that I'll use it to explain.
It's loading. It's uploading.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, this paper, the way it is now, SciSpace is going to read this paper for us, and we are going to ask it questions on the paper so that we don't have to read it.
Okay.
So you can see where you can type question. Write your question.
Yes, search or ask a question. Yes.
Okay. Just above it, you can see some pre-installed questions, 12 or more. Click on it. No. Above where you can ask question.
I have not seen
That place where there's math sign.
Here.
That box where there's math sign. Come to the extreme right bottom. Come to the bottom.
Bottom. Okay.
Bottom.
Bottom. Okay. See.
To the right, yes.
Okay,
Click
yes,
on,
I've seen it
have
now.
you seen it now? Okay, click on that. Eh?
Okay, the 12 more.
Yes.
This
Yes.
plus 12 more, right? This is it? Okay.
Okay.
Can I to do anything now?
Choose explain the practical implication of this paper.
Okay.
Uncle? Yeah, well, no.
This is the magic.
Now think of any question and ask it. You've seen the answer to this one. Think of any question and ask it. Any question based on the paper or not on your own thinking, no. Based on the paper. Idris, do that so that we'll see the
Okay. Okay.
Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is beautiful.
So with this now, if you have 100 of paper to analyze, all you do is to feed them into SciSpace. and begin to ask it questions.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And this brings us to the end of this class. Except you have questions. Then I'll give you assignments.
Oh God, let's take it, Prof.
Thank you so much, sir. This is beautiful.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
sir. This is really smart work.
Philemon, your question, please.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir.
All right, Prof, I'm not just going to say general thank you, but I just I do not have a question, but sincerely, I want to thank you for this session because it's quite enlightening. When I saw the post, I had another meeting, but I was just praying they should cancel or shift the meeting so that I could attend this. And I know that, as always, the time that we've spent here is not just wasted, but it's a life impacting one. So thank you so much for giving this invaluable treasure free of charge. Thank you so much. And we are deeply grateful. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir. And
Yes, sir.
sir,
Sir?
in addition to what Solomon has just said, sir, I believe this is the first class. You said we'll still be having subsequent ones, sir, so that I want to learn more on this. This is actually very beautiful, sir. God bless you, sir. It has, in fact, if anybody told me this kind of thing exists, I would say it's a lie. But now look at how you are just demystifying all the things that have been bothering us. God bless you, sir. As always, I know that attending this class it's just what I must do today. Thank you so much, sir. As always.
You're welcome. To answer that, yes, there's one more free class. After that is paid class.
Of course.
Yes,
Well, sir.
one more free class for this cohort.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I look forward to it, sir.
Okay. So I'll give you assignments that will form the basis for the next class.
Huh?
Okay. Is there any other question before I give the assignment? Okay.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, this is what we are going to do. You are going to use Litmap. You choose any topic of your choice. Any topic of your choice. Use Litmap to get a literature map of relevant literature relating to that topic. Relevant literature related to that topic. So you create the map. You screenshot the map and put, that's the first thing. Then the next thing, you download those documents. Download those documents in PDF form. Then you will use SciSpace to analyze them.
All right.
After you use SciSpace to analyze them, and use consensus also. Between now and next week Saturday, you will have finished writing one paper. In fact, on Friday latest, for you to be able to participate in the next class, you will have submitted your drafts to the email address. If you have registered, then you got email to attend this program, you have the email address to send your work to. So the assignment is that you are writing a paper, a manuscript between now and Friday latest. Submit on Friday, then we'll use it to explain what we'll do in the next class.
Yes, sir.
So you are going to use consensus, Litmap, and SciSpace. I want to see evidence of you using the three of them.
Um,
Sir, is it any topic of our choice, or there's a
Any
particular
topic
topic?
of your no. Any topic of your choice. In fact, I want you to write on something that you're already working on before,
All right, sir.
or something you intended to work on, so
Okay,
that
sir.
after this training, the essence is that you have one paper ready for
Wow.
publication.
Yes, sir.
We'll do that, sir.
Yes, sir. I love this.
Sir, I did not register, so I don't have the email.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll put the email in the in-call message
Okay, sir.
now.
Please, sir, can you also add the question to the in-call message?
The question is write a paper and submit before Friday. Before the close of work Friday next week, using consensus, size, space, and lit map. Is that clear
Yes,
now?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. And on this note, we're
We're
supposed to
grateful,
spend
sir.
just 2 hours. We have spent 2 hours, 24 minutes.
Yes.
So, on this note, I want to say bye-bye to everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Thank you very
Yes.
much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc.
Please, when are we getting the recorded session?
And
When it's clean.
the slides. Can we get the slide, Prof?
Yes, you can.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.